today we are going to talk about best practices to follow while loading. Now, loading is a very, very important function when you're shipping something to a customer or a retailer or whoever it is you're shipping to, right? Because you could have done a great job, picking the order, packing the order, stacking the boxes in the pallets nicely, all that you could have done. But if you don't load your products, merchandise, pallets, whatever it is properly, if you don't do that properly, all the work that you've done is going to go waste. Because, when a product travels in the truck, right, when a, set of pallets, bunch of boxes stacked in pallets, when they travel in the truck, there are a lot of bumps on the road. I mean, the truck will have all the best, shock absorber and all that. But in spite of that, there are a lot of bumps on the road and there is a lot of traffic and there is, obviously, crazy drivers, right? And the truck, when the driver is driving and when he is applying brakes, when he is, going over steep, hills, when all that happens, there are G forces that, act on the product that you ship. So the product, tends to move, tends to shake, tends to fall. So it's very important that, you got to load it properly, and that's what we are learning from LoadProof. All these warehouse managers doing a great job loading, but somehow damages happen to the product. I mean, it could be an inadvertent mistake by someone else, or somehow it happens. So it's very, very important that loading is done correctly, right? Especially if you're shipping expensive items like refrigerators. I mean, we got these customers that ship really, really massive AC units in this flatbed trucks. They ship that's like huge, and they use videos to take the picture of the condition of the product before it leaves their facility, because they can show proof to their customers, hey, look at this, we did our job great, right? So people often don't realize how important this low packing is. Packing and then loading, right? And keeping take into account that all these G forces, all the things that happen when pallets travel on the truck, it's important to secure them nicely. It's important, and again, understanding the difference between obviously parcel, we all know it's small box, and as long as you put the box, give the box to the UPS driver or FedEx driver, they take care of it from there, right? But if it's a pallet and if you're shipping through some carrier, then you gotta really, really do a great job packing the shrink wrapping the pallet. Obviously you've done a great job packing the pallet. You got to shrink wrap the pallet, and after loading you got to make sure the things don't move. So one of the most effective tools to make sure that the pallets don't move is something called a loading bar, right? It's called a tie bar, it's called a load bar, it's called a loading bar, right? There's so many different terminologies they use. Essentially what it is it's a bar that after you load your big pallets, after you load your refrigerator, after you load whatever it is, right, TV or whatever it is, what you do is you put in that load bar and then make sure you lock that thing, right? You secure that thing, and this load bar, there are many different varieties of types of load bars. They're some are very sophisticated with a ratchet and pinion mechanism, and you can lock it in, and some just securely hold with the rubber pads and things like that. So this loading bar is very useful because it secures the merchandise really, really tightly. So even if the truck shakes, and even if the truck hits a bump pretty fast, they don't move, they don't shake so much, they don't experience, or they're held in position securely, right? That's something to look at, because these loading bars are very, very effective. And if you come from the 3PL industry, that pretty well, right? Because the 3PLs, if something bad happens, the 3PLs get banged on both sides, both from the customer side, who has hired them to for these services, and then also from the recipient side who received that product. So it's very important to pay attention to this loading process, right? Nicely loading step by step, and then nicely if it's a LTL, you would need multiple loading bars. And see, again, right, I don't know what your situation is. So if it's a local town delivery, it's an LTL delivery, you might not need that loading bar. But if it's a long haul delivery, then you might need that loading bar. So but it depends on the how expensive your item is, and what type of roads that you're going through, what type of G-forces that act. I mean, are there crazy drivers on the road and things like that, right? So it's very important to do that. Loading is very, very important, and we got customers, ton of customers now. They're taking pictures of every single load they load. Every single pallet they load, every single merchandise, refrigerator, Samsung TV, or this crazy air conditioning system, whatever they load, they take pictures of that to prove it to their customers, to the whoever they're shipping to, all right, and even to the carriers. Either could be a retailer for a chargeback scenario, or even for the somebody else that they're shipping to, making sure the freight, the carrier delivers it perfectly. So loading is something that's very, very important. Needs to be done correctly. It needs to be especially if we're shipping high value products, you got to have that loading bar that's very effective. And I think you can go to you can just Google it and you can find it. And Uline is a very popular distributor of these products. You can find them there. So it just secures the pallets so nicely, so effectively, and you can sleep peacefully, saying that, hey, my product is going to be get delivered in safe and secure manner. So yeah, check it out and let us know if there is any other best practice that we can share for your. Feel free to post questions, and of course share this video with your friends and co-workers, and also subscribe to our channel. We keep posting best practices like this to our video repository, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video.